Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Memorial Stadium. Derek Wark, the Big D for CPHS at Channel 6. Tonight, visiting again for a second time. Of course, they were here earlier in the year. The Lance Creuse North Lancers, they of course were here, and the Huskies beat on them in Week 3. Big Red's hoping to do the same thing to them tonight. Big Reds, of course, enter tonight 2-3. They've got to win out to make the playoffs, so it's a very crucial game, as all the games left are for the Port Huron High Big Reds. Justin Black is out again, the injury-prone quarterback. All the talent in the world, but he just can't stay healthy. Enter in Jarrett Chapman, his backup. When he comes in, he gives more speed to this team, but certainly a little bit less pass. But this is a great leader. Big Red's very, very fortunate to have him as a backup quarterback. Big Red's problem all year long, basically, is they haven't been able to run the ball. Well, tonight I think Therese Watkins, number one, their leading rusher from the offensive backfield, if not for Chapman. This is a guy who's going to get a lot of carries tonight, I believe, to try and take advantage of Lance Creuse in a suspect defense. Well, on my blog this week at bigdsports.info, Mike LaForge has been writing in, and of course some fans have too, asking me my opinion on why Mike LaForge is so overlooked. Well, you know what? Not tonight. Tonight, Mike LaForge, I dedicate this game to you. Let's see what you got. Mike LaForge and his Big Reds versus Lance Creuse and the Lancers coming up next. Derek Wark, the Big D, CPHS, Channel 6. The dictionary defines the word adversity like this: a state of hardship or difficulty, misfortune, harsh conditions, and hard times. I wouldn't really call what the Big Reds are going through a state of adversity on all levels, but after years of unlimited success, perhaps they're starting to deal with a little bit of it now at the halfway point of the 2010 season. At 2-3 this point, the Big Reds have to win out to guarantee themselves, of course, a spot in the playoffs. Well, if the Big Reds want to do just that, make the playoffs, then really there's only one thing you can do with that ugly adversity word: overcome it. Against a beatable Lance Creuse Lancers team tonight, this, folks, is an excellent opportunity at taking the first step in doing just that: overcoming the adversity. Derek Wark, the Big D, again, CPHS, Channel 6, and again, hello to you and yours from the friendly confines of Memorial Stadium. A little bit overcast tonight, but not too bad. Great football weather. They expect it to get cool, and goofy me, I didn't even bring a jacket tonight, so I'll probably freeze before this one's over. But the Big Reds right now, they know they've got to win out to make the playoffs, or at least guarantee themselves in the playoffs. 5-4 can sometimes get you in, but that is unlikely. So tonight and every night from here on out, they've got one thing on their mind, and that is the victory. One other thing to talk about, and we'll obviously mention this as the game goes along: Coach Ryan Mullins suspended for this game, apparently for inadvertently bumping an official last week. You have to suspend the coach, apparently, for that. After getting ejected, you've got to get the one-game suspension. So even though not intentional, he did it anyway. So Coach Mullins is out for tonight's contest. Ken Semmelsberger takes over the reins as the head coach for the Big Reds in this one tonight. Lance Creuse about to kick this one off, just about ready to go here. Again, Big D, CPHS at Channel 6. And for Mike LaForge again, who wrote into the blog, this one is for you, buddy. As Lance Creuse kicks off, let's get nasty. Port Huron off kickoff, and up lineman takes that one off his hands right to Chapman, who quickly gets it upfield and go. He could be gone already. 50-45. Look out, we have an early one. Touchdown, Big Reds. Winslow Chapman found a seam, and sometimes on a special teams play such as that, like a kickoff, when the up lineman gets the ball and he kind of bobbles it and it goes off his hands, or some kind of misfortunate error, sometimes it can help a football team because it throws the other team off that little second. And looky what I found here. Touchdown, Big Reds already on the board. There's 6. Well, when you're 2-3, you're looking for any kind of a break, and that's it. But again, the perfect remedy, the perfect recipe for a team that is not yet 500. Play teams like Clintondale, play teams like Lance Creuse. Not picking on them, just no big secret. They're not the upper echelon of teams yet. So, Big Red's a good start in this one. Obviously, they want to play this one for their head coach, Mullins. Here's the extra point try. Placed down, up, and blocked. But an early 6. Donald Rock, the extra point try, no good, but fans still very much satisfied. Just 12 seconds tick off the clock. Big Reds on top, 6-0. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS. Channel 6. Well, again, Lance Creuse Lancers are in town. Mount Clemens Lance Creuse Lancers officially at 1-4 overall, but 0-2 in the MAC Blue. Predicted as the last place team in the MAC Blue this year, and at 0-2, indeed, it looks like it may be a truthful prediction. According to them, their strength, their defensive backfield. As said in the Northern game when they walked all over the Lancers, this is a team that really lost its whole offensive line to graduation, also their top running back in Lombardo from a season ago, and they really have not recovered from that. They won 5 games last year, barely missed out on the playoffs as a result, but apparently those 5 games that they won last year were dominant. 226 scored in the 5 victories, but again, you lose your blocking up front and your star caliber running back in Lombardo, and really, what can you say? I mean, very, very difficult to overcome that. And that last kickoff return, Winslow Chapman all the way back. That's not exactly going to put them to sleep either. Big Reds to kick this one right on back to Lance Creuse now. Donald Rock, who just missed the extra point a moment ago, set to kick this one off. To Lance Creuse, who, again, 1-4 overall, but yet to win in the MAC Blue, and, well, that certainly is not going to help. Rock with his arm up. Here we go. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. Kickoff bounces about the 20-yard line, up now to the 15. Stumbles, falls, tripped up right there. Good downfield tackle by the boys in red. 18, Corey Hutchinson among them. You know, out trots Lance Creuse Lancers and their offense, led by quarterback Jake Vaughter, who splits time with 23 Eric Winega, among others. But, of course, this Vaughter in his first year, last season's JV quarterback, so they kind of took it slow with him from the get-go. Arnett Turner, number 1, he's also the number 1 running back on this team. He also splits time with Winega if he lines up as a running back. And they're led up front by big 75 Ive Latifi. We'll talk about the Big Reds D here in just a moment. First off from the 19, 1st and 10. Vaughter, the give to Turner, stumbles and nothing, pushed back by my main man, 13, LaForge. Also 17 over there is Moloch on the tackle. Out also trots the Big Reds in their defense. They've expected a lot from this group from the get-go, but mostly lately have they been kind of benefiting from the way they've played. Led by 2 excellent linebackers, I just said 13 LaForge, also 9 Dominic Schultz, and the gentleman who made that tackle a minute ago, Alex Smolik. It's a good group. They're fast, they're physical like their counterpart, the Huskies. Vaughter airing this one out deep, and pretty good defensive coverage. Jumps for the pick try. Julian Brown, not quite in his hands. That brings up 3rd down. Well, Big Reds again last week, coming off a big 12-7 victory versus Clintondale. That one in Clintondale, improving them to 2-3 overall. Again, a perfect recipe for when you're struggling is to have games like those, despite the fact that they're in Clintondale, and this one is actually at home, Lance Creuse, but that's a good recipe to overcome when you're struggling a little bit, is to play these teams that aren't highly rated and get back into the flow of what it feels like to win in your division. Pitch back this time is Winega to the outside, got some good yardage at first, but tripped up. After that, they get over there in a big, big hurry, and that's going to bring up 4th down. It looks like the Big Reds have held again. Chapman among tacklers. All kinds of Chapman on this Big Red team, and every one of them really does a great job in their own way. We saw Winslow a moment ago. Mark there making the tackle, and obviously Jarrett, the quarterback. Very talented, athletic family, the Chapmans. Line of scrimmage, the 22, to punt this one at the 10. Lancers, it's actually a fake. They're running it to the outside for a clearer vision for the punt. That one bounces out of bounds right around the 45. That's where they'll get it. Of course, I speak of the Big Red offense, who we couldn't even mention or talk about a moment ago, thanks to the kick return. Touchdown by Winslow Chapman. Your Port Huron High Big Reds, 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the MAC Blue. They came into the season being rated the second best team in the MAC Blue, but it's been a tough season thus far for them as far as they're concerned. Usually they're led by quarterback Justin Black. He's become somewhat of an injury-prone quarterback, but all the talent in the world, and luckily for him, he's coming back probably this year and certainly next season for his senior year. They're led now by number 6. There you see him, Jared Chapman, and they don't lose much there, if anything at all. He's a great leader, as mentioned. He's quick, good rushing quarterback, and he's from shotgun right now in a 5-wide set. Back to pass. Over the middle, caught, shakes off a tackler, and a flag gets thrown right at the tackle. 5 made it. Lucas lands on of the Lance Creuse Lancers. Not the best crowd over there on the other side. Actually seeing some red jerseys to signify some of these people on the Big Red side that don't want to sit over here, maybe too crowded for them, want to go over there and sit down. Enemy territory over there. Showing their red nonetheless. The penalty, by the way, against the Big Reds, that's going to set them back. Here you see the pass, and wide open was 9 there, Dominic Schultz. And missed tackling by the Lancers, but it didn't matter, a flag. And it brings up now 1st and 16, they say, from the 47. Same look again, trying to get the pass going with Chapman. He's going to take off with it instead, around left side, tries to avoid tackle, and just falls forward after maybe 4. That's a good trip up there on the sack. 81, Dallas Carroll for the Lancers. In Chapman, more of a wide open running attack and more of a running spread, if you will, than when Black's in there, obviously, where they will prefer to throw the ball more often. But again, as far as backup QBs go, there's none better than this guy, Chapman, because, quite frankly, the kid wins. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. From the 49 of Lance Creuse, 2nd down. Chapman this time, early candidate for player of the game, certainly. Look at him fighting for yards. Got 10, not quite enough for the 1st down. Off the penalty, going to bring up about 3rd and short. The tailback most of the time, or much of the time, Therese Watkins, number 1. We haven't seen him yet lining up back there. Again, 3 Chapman, 17 Zmolik, the big wideouts for the team. Zmolik mostly a tight end a season ago. Up front, you got tackles Moran and Drummond, also Palmatier and Pashini, and the center is Glenn Hartman. Brings up 3rd and 4. Ball mark 34. Chapman again trying to find his way through a seam, and they keep pushing him forward, battling down there, very close, but I don't think he's got enough. It's going to bring up 4th down. And a whole horde of Lancers were over there, getting credit for half sacks. It's going to be 4th and looks like 1. Not sure I like that mark, but nonetheless about 1 right on the money, and they're not even considering punt. Chapman comes right back out, so key 4th and 1 right here for the Lancers. Certainly the Big Reds, great start for them. The special teams, kickoff return, touchdown. They've started out 6-0. I formation this time. Immediate give, LaForge, even showing some offensive abilities, Mike. Chapman's got to watch that late hit over there, Winslow. He's really pumped up after that big kickoff return. 1st down, Big Reds, LaForge got it. And that was basically what happened. Some guy, I didn't even know who it was, named Rick, wrote up BigDSports.info this week and said, Big D, why is it that 13, Mike LaForge, gets no credit in this area for anything that he does? Talk more about that after this play. 1st and 10 from the 35. Chapman again shotgun to pass, looking left side, outside, caught. Trying to break free of the tackle is 10, Mark Chapman. Good gain again on 1st down. Anyway, so I basically replied that I think that the fact that LaForge did not make the top 25 in the area poll by the Port Huron Area Times-Herald, I really kind of thought that was kind of weak. I mean, this is a guy who I thought was good last year, 13, making tackles from the linebacker position, and I couldn't agree more. The kid just doesn't get enough credit, so I thought, Why not give them more credit tonight? So here you go. LaForge got the first down on the carry there a minute ago. He's even out there getting some offensive carries. So certainly I'll be watching 13 as this night goes along. And thanks to Rick for writing in this week at bigdsports.info. Second down and short now. Chapman left side. Big hole. Big room. 15 down 14. Well, again, Watkins was listed as the running back, but they're lining up Winslow Chapman all over the place right now as the primary offensive threat. They've got to be having fun, the Chapmans, playing side by side like that. Jarrett and Winslow. A family affair at Memorial Stadium for the boys in red, and I'm sure they're loving it. And as I've said, two great athletes. From the 14, 1st and 10, they can get a first without scoring. Chapman again, shotgun. 4 wide look, 1 back, high snap, can't recover, goes down. Dallas Carroll again. His 2nd sack already in what, half the quarter? Yeah. Again, Lance Creuse, they say the defensive backfield is their strength. Eric Wanega, 23, Arnett Turner, 1 as well. And Johnny Doggett, the linebacker. Excellent player. I said his name quite a bit when he played the Huskies up here in week 3. Number 21, Doggett, and of course Dallas Carroll, 81, up there on the D-line. 2nd and long, 13 from the 16. Chapman this time to the right. Good trip up tackle right at the legs by 23, Wanega. And that'll bring up 3rd down. So some strong defensive plays with the recent play calling for the Lancers, and now a big 3rd and long play. They've got to get to about the 4 for a first down here, maybe just before it. So they need a big play here, certainly. Again, CPHS Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station, and the Big D. Being big is a state of mind, and here come those Big Reds yet again. Chapman shotgun look, left side, airing it out deep. Corner end zone. Jumps up in a great late defensive play made by the Lancers over there. 8 knocked it free. Jordan Calhoun and the Huskies. Check that, the Big Reds now with a 4th down. Speaking of the Huskies, I believe they're in Sterling Heights tonight. And 4-1. That rivalry game coming up, the 2nd last week of October, I think it is, or at least 2nd last week of the season, week 8. That's going to be a good one. Our first really good one, I think, in years. Both teams are talented this time around. Big Red's going to go for it on 4th and 14. Chapman looking to the right side. Now changes his mind. He's got a lot of room to run here. Chapman cuts it upfield. Gets inside the 5. Touchdown, Big Reds. Well, we need to see a replay on that one. If for nothing else, the size of number 6's hole. This was enormous. He had half the field. And I think even after he gained about 10, there was one guy waiting for him. One. You talk about buying Chapman on the right from the get-go of that play. And simply put, they don't get over there fast enough for his speed. They lose a little bit on the pass when Black goes down. But when you have a guy like Chapman to back him up, it's a nice luxury to have. They're going for 2 here. Chapman falls down, still takes to Winslow. Chapman dives forward, but not quite. Oh, they're saying he did get in. He barely got in, I'll tell you that, but it's 2-point conversion complete nonetheless. And there you see, well, they got 12 right now. There we go, 14-0. Big Reds on top. Derek Wark, the Big D, CPHS, Channel 6. You gotta like how the Big Reds have come out in this one. Well, the Huskies, week 3, flat out did the job against this Lancer team, and I ended up actually feeling sorry for them. It ended up being on mercy time, and they ended up running the clock, and and I guess they call that running time or what have you, but Big Red's certainly on pace to make it look the same. I like the aggressiveness that they've come out and played here, and certainly with the loss of Coach Mullins for this game and the suspension and all the rest, the Big Reds as players, you know they want to win this one for their coach. And certainly, as mentioned earlier, a very winnable game for them, as it was last week with Clintondale. So Rock to kick off again now. Winslow, Chapman, both touchdowns for the Big Reds, if you're wondering. Actually, check that. Jarrett on the one and Winslow on the other. They're both named Chapman. Winslow a 2-point conversion as well. Let's get nasty. Port Huron, the kickoff, taken 13-yard line by number 1, Arnett Turner around right, but they get there right away. No, sir. 24. Charlie Weaver. If you choose to cut that ball to the right or the left and you go around, you've got to go with a ton of speed, because if you don't get out there quick, you're wasting time where the special teams opposition can get down the field very quickly. So if you choose to do that, you've got to run probably your fastest to go right to left. Lancers again now. I formation look with 2 wide, 1 on each side. 1st and 10 from there to the outside. Caught. They played off him this time. Fumbles the football. Dives forward on the football again. LaForge over there to make the tackle as well. 23, Julian Brown. Well, 22, Josh McCarthy. I don't know if he was concerned with the tackler there or if he just thought, wow, I've got a lot of open area here to run, and he was so thrilled to death to have it. Maybe he forgot about holding on to the football there, but gain of, they say, 7 on the play. That looks like a long, 3 or 4 to get here. That play whistled dead from the get-go. False start on the Lancers. Well, again, that game they won last week, 12-7 versus Clintondale in Clintondale. Clintondale just 171 total yards of offense, 11 of those yards on the pass. That's it. And they didn't get their 160th yard on the rush until carry number 50, apparently. That's flat out doing the job defensively. But listen to this. The Big Red D created 5 turnovers, 4 fumbles, and 1 interception. No wonder they won. Just 12-7's got to be a bit of a concern for Coach Mullins with the lack of scoring on the offense. Here you see on 2nd down, completion to 23, Wanega. And that'll make a 3rd down. Well, it's interesting we haven't heard 24, Mike Valerio's name yet. This is a guy that game against the Huskies was their most valuable player, and I gave him the offensive player of the game in that one, so we'll see. He might not even be out there. He might be hurt. I formation look again. 3rd down and 2 from the 24. Back to pass is Vaughter. Outside. Broken up. Batted down, I think, at the line. Over there, Jordan Small, 89, might have got a piece. He's a big guy, too. 6'7", 195. I guess he is a big guy. Huh. Well, if they don't recruit that guy for basketball, they're nuts. That's all I can say. 6'7". And still growing, and that's scary, isn't it? But yeah, the defensive line obviously got a piece of that one. Brings up 4th down, and the Lancers are going to talk about it. With 2:56 to go in the first. Again, it's Derek Wark, Big D, CPHS, Channel 6. Here you see the Big Red faithful. They always pack this end right to the brim all the time. And I noticed something earlier, too, tonight. All the blankets that were down laying here beforehand. Apparently these people come and they lay their blankets down and then they leave. They seem to trust the fact that they can reserve those spots for their blankets. Hello, Miss Gallio down there on the cam. Channel 6 getting great views all over the place tonight. Preparing themselves for what's to be a great rivalry game in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that one. Can you tell? From the 24, they're going to punt this one, acting like a fake again, but instead they just do the same thing. And this one out of bounds. Good field position again for the Big Reds at about the 42 of the Lancers. Vaughter on the punt. And they must be scared to punt from straight up because they're losing some time getting clear of everything. Maybe they've had a lot of punts blocked in the past few weeks, but they really seem content to just run over there to the right side, get clear of the line, and then punt. Fine and dandy, except if you don't punt that ball upfield, it can run out of bounds like it just did and robs you of field position. So I guess you pick your poison in that instance. Better than getting blocked, I suppose. Out comes number 6, Jared Chapman again. So far, his Big Reds have been excellent offensively. From the 42, 1st and 10, a play fake. Chapman, the keeper, around left side, got a ton of room to the 28. And somebody's shoeless over there. 54 lost his wheels, Connor Palmatier. I believe it's Corey Hutchinson, by the way, defensively, who's going to replace Chapman, being as, of course, he's lining up in the quarterback position for Justin Black. It's because of the cornerback spot, though, that the Times-Herald rated Jarrett Chapman the #1 player in the area as a cover corner. So that's a bit of a loss there. And that's another one of the many reasons they'd like Justin Black back, to get Jarrett Chapman back at the cover corner spot to take down a field, or at least half of a field. Here he is again, running around right side. Good wheels to the right, out of bounds. To the 30. The 20, check that. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Chapman last week threw for 2 touchdowns, 10-yarder to Smolik, 31-yarder to Winslow Chapman. He was 19 for 99 on the ground, 6 of 13 for 76 on the pass. And again, Clintondale last week, just 11 passing yards. Yikes. Watkins, 8 for 45 on the ground, Smolik, 2 for 25 receiving, and Winslow Chapman, 2 for 33. Here's Jarrett to Winslow, tries the wideout screen in the flat, nothing. Sooner or later, you keep using the same guy, and they will get adjusted to. He's the reason for, 8 points on the scoreboard. 8 of that first 14, Winslow Chapman's. Both Chapman's the reason for the 14. Third, and it looks like 8 from the 26. That's what the scoreboard says anyway. We'll go with that. Again, 5 wide look. 3 on the near side, 2 far side. No running backs. And Jarrett Chapman from shotgun again. The wide open spread look. More of a running spread again when Jarrett's in there. More passing minded when you have Black. Chapman to pass. Fakes. Keeps it. Outside. Good block. Winslow. First down, Jarrett to the 15. Well, these Chapmans are doing everything out there. If they're not running, they're blocking. Great block by 3 there. If nothing else, just to be in the way. There you see some of the Big Red fans. It's quite the hat. That's below me, actually. Kind of got a Crocodile Dundee thing going there. Howdy, folks. Good to see you tonight. And proud of their Big Reds so far, rightfully so. 14-0. And threatening here, 1st and 10 from the 15. Well, I'll talk about that top 25 pool here in just a moment. 1st and 10 for the 15. Chapman, there he goes again. Upended hard. Ball comes out loose. And I think that ball was a live fumble. Down now, though. Big Reds recover. He just takes off, and he takes off quick. again, certain aspects of the game, obviously, but they don't lose anything really when Chapman comes in there. And not to take anything away from Black, he's of course got the senior year next year and all the talent in the world. But this guy comes in there and he's just the same kind of a leader that Black is. Certainly he runs well. And they believe in him. Coach Mullins has said on many different occasions that they are a very lucky team to have number 6 as a backup quarterback or even as a starter. And not all teams out there have that kind of quarterback depth. Usually you get past the starter and it can be a little bit iffy. Timeout on the football field. I think the Big Reds called it. Second down and short when play resumes. 14-0 Big Reds on top of the Lancers. 26 seconds remain in the first quarter. And really a quarter that was owned by the Big Reds, and really the momentum was their way from the get-go. Winslow Chapman, the big kickoff return touchdown that brought the fans to their feet. And they're looking at punching in for 21 here in a minute. But it's been the story of the Chapmans here so far. 3 running backs this time. Shotgun look. Straight up the middle, straight down is Dominic Schultz to the 1.
Dominic Schultz on the carry.
Well, the crowd here, not real excited. I think they're starting to clue in that this game might be a bit of a rout here. Well, we've got first and goal now for the Big Reds. Really moving the ball at will right now offensively, and that 6 can certainly move, can he? First down, give, no. Right on the goal line now, they say yes, touchdown, Big Reds. And was it Watkins that got in? I think they're saying number 9, Dominic Schultz got it. Touchdown, Big Reds. Give her percussion, give her. 6 more to cheer about. Yeah. Well, this is going to be the last play of the first quarter here, the extra point try. And it's going to be 21-0. Kick is up, kick is through. There you have it. So after 1 quarter complete from Memorial Stadium, I'll tell you, it has been all Big Reds from the drop of the hat to the end of the first. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS Channel 6, back with the second on the flip side. Second quarter action about to begin from Memorial Stadium again. Joining you tonight, Derek Work, the Big D for CPHS Channel 6. Nice night for football too, and not just because of the great score on the scoreboard. You gotta love it, 21-0. Big Reds on top of the visiting Mount Clemens Lance Creuse Lancers. Again, Big Reds 2-3. You can't say enough about how they've come out and started. They don't look like a 2-3 football team, and that is good news. Certainly they know it. They've got to win out to probably make the playoffs. Again, 5-4 can get you in, but it's tough. That Big Red schedule, though, very top heavy. It certainly has gotten a lot easier in previous weeks and certainly this week, but they've come out and you got to like the way they've played. They play like a desperate football team because that's what they all of a sudden have become. And don't think that with them hovering that playoff spot coming up in a couple weeks, that rivalry game looks huge. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. Kickoff, 10, 15, quickly 25, and down to the 27. 11, Zachary DeBuff, and 10 as well got him, Mark Chapman for the Big Reds. Well, I like these kinds of things because they're fun. And they're opinionated, but they are just for fun. And a lot of people don't like what they often see, but the annual Port Huron Area Times Herald list of the top 25 players in the area was released earlier in the week. The following Big Reds made that list. Number 1, Jarrett Chapman. And they list on there his play on both sides of the ball, particularly on the defensive side, where they list him as probably the top cover corner in the area. Certainly a quarterback now and means just as much for them at that position, but they'd love to have him in that battle against Macaulay Hill in a couple of weeks, boy. That'll be a great one-on-one matchup if Black's back. Around right side, nothing. Schultz over there, LaForge as well, and big 89 Jordan Small among them. Coming in at 11th with Justin Black, and we certainly haven't heard or seen all from this kid yet, because they say he's got all the skills. He can do everything. When they don't have Chapman next year, I think this kid's still going to shine. I do. He's got the big senior season next year, and although injury prone these first two, next year's going to be the make or break for the Black attack, certainly. One more Big Red made that list. We'll talk about him here in just a moment. 2nd down and 10, nothing much. And it's going to bring up 3rd. Well, they're just not moving the ball at all on this Port Huron High D. That was 21, I believe, Johnny Dog at the carry, and just got eaten up by that front line. 13th on that list was number 9, Dominic Schultz, senior linebacker and wideout. Well, what can you say about him? I mean, a complete player, certainly. Athletic, got good size. So congratulations to the 3 that made that list. Jared Chapman, Justin Black, and Dominic Schultz. And I'm sure I'm going to get no arguments. LaForge should be on that list. Got a timeout on the field for Lance Creuse, and probably a real good time for them to call timeout because they're just not moving the ball at all right now. And clearly when it rains, it pours. Only 1 and 4 coming in, and they've got to try and do something here in a big hurry. I could say the momentum in the crowd and everything, but they're pretty quiet here right now. They kind of know that Big Reds certainly have a huge advantage. I should also say, happy homecoming to all of you. Tonight is the Big Red homecoming, and they'll crown their king and queen. And they've got some nice looking floats out there too. I guess they've got, 4 floats? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, all of them. And I think one even moves. It goes uphill somehow. I'll have to pay extra close attention to that one. But yeah, homecoming for the Big Reds. Nice to see some of the ex-grads have come home. Hello. Cameraman Extreme right there. And I don't know any names, so I'm just going to call him Cameraman Extreme. There you go. From the 27, 3rd and 9 with 10:17 to go in the second. Big Reds on top, 21-0. Vaughter, plenty of time, outside. Drop the ball. Josh McCarthy in and out of his hands, and that'll bring up 4th down. That's one of those on the run. And the fact that you're jumping up on the run to catch the ball might have thrown you off a bit, but also maybe looking up first. Because when you do jump to get that, there's a chance you're going to get hammered. But they're just not getting anything offensively. Big Reds are shutting the door flat out. Here you see the play again from shotgun. He had all day to throw it, but that's got to be caught. 4-1 teams don't drop that football. That's why they're 4-1 teams. High snap. Might have to fake this one. Great job by Vaughter, actually, to get that one off. Caught. Out of bounds, 42. It's a good effort by, what was that, 16? I think 18, actually. Corey Hutchinson down there at the sidelines. And he could have probably let it go. Either way, they'd have had it at the 40 or the 42. Not a real big difference if they would have accepted the penalty there, so. Out trots the Big Reds again. Very successful so far offensively. 3 touchdowns just like that, and they're up 21-0 in the early stages of the second. They line up 2 running backs this time and 3 wideouts. And of course, Chapman from the shotgun T look. High snap again, give to Schultz, right between guard and tackle right side, and he's gonna get a face mask too. Not a true blue face mask, but he grabbed the helmet to make the tackle, and you cannot do that. Well, they're saying against the Big Reds on a hold, so what do I know, of course. Clearly, though, I'm telling you, he made the tackle with the helmet, so it doesn't matter anyway. But so first down and long, that one certainly benefits the Lancers, who at this point need any help they can get. Here you see, well, maybe that was clean, I don't know. See, right when he makes the tackle, he throws the flag, so up here I'm thinking, well, there you go, illegal use of hands to the face, but holding against the Big Reds brings them back, replay first down, play fake, Chapman right side, avoids tackle, cuts up field, got 4.
Chapman on the keeper, brought down by Lucas Lanzon.
5 on the tackle, Lucas Lanzon. Said his name a couple of times tonight. And this game looks a lot like we're going to have running clock time later on too. Gets the game over with quicker, but certainly the Big Reds needed this one. Next week, it certainly gets difficult for them. At Grosse Pointe South. Wow. That Grosse Pointe South team is big up front, and they've got a great defense. So it's going to take everything the Big Reds have next week. Or is that in 2 weeks? I think that might be in 2 weeks. To pass again, airing it out, caught, right at the sticks, Alex Smolik. And I think he's got the first. That's nicely done. And the fact that Smolik is 6'4", 200 helps a great deal because you can throw it kind of high and have him earn it a bit and come down with it. Obviously, they prefer to get the ball right in their chest, but if you have a wideout that is tall like Smolik, you make him go up and get it because that's what the height is for. Third down and a short 1 by the looks of things from the 48 of the Lancers. 2 running backs again, 3 wide look. Chapman shotgun again, a give up and down, and he got it. Therese Watkins the first down. Well, he was listed on my pages as the starting tailback, but I think they might have something in this Winslow Chapman number 3, who looks extremely dangerous as more of a swing back, if you will. A receiving back slash rusher slash a lot of things for the Big Reds. From the 45, first and 10, 7:44 to go in the second. Chapman again, looking deep, airing it out deep, down left sidelines. It depends what they rule, they're saying incomplete. A great effort by 10 there, Mark Chapman, because he had it in his hands, kind of bobbling the football a little bit. Maybe we can get a replay on that and just see how much he was bobbling the ball. Obviously 1 foot inbounds at this level, so close, but they ruled right away incomplete, so not a real big deal in a 21-0 game anyway. From the 45, second and 10. Chapman last second instructions on a beautiful football night. Tremendous weather. This is what football's all about. The shotgun carry, Therese Watkins out of the backfield. He could be gone. Number 1, touchdown, Big Reds. Too much open space coming off the holes of the offensive line. Way too much. because that's not just the first time they've done that. Just a simple running play to the left. You have to jump the holes quicker than that, or else you've just got open field to have fun with. Same side of the field, too. They've got something on that left side on just simple runs to the left. Extra point try. This time it's up, and this time easily good. So don't look now. Running away with it, 28-0. 7:25 left. Here you see, well, he cut upfield to the right first, but there you see the cutback, and there's just nobody. And the tacklers that are there to make the play are flat-footed. There you see, yeah, straight up. Well, he went around I think the guard there. Actually, now that I think about it, play initially looked like it was going to the right side, and he cut it to the left, but there's just nobody on that left side. And the play in the earlier going with Winslow Chapman, where he cut one, or maybe it was Jarrett to the left, same kind of thing. They just don't have the manpower to get over there. And the guys in numbers, they're flat-footed, as mentioned. And no, they're not riding horses. They're sitting still in their bench, but you wouldn't know it. People having a good time, and why not? 28-0. When it gets like this, sometimes you've got to find other things to amuse you. Kickoff, rock, let's get nasty. Port Huron. On the bounce, 25-30. To the 35, down to the 35. 3 the return, Norman Jones. Well, the Big Red D has given up an average of 11 points per game in the last 4 games. Similar dominant numbers to their counterparts in the Port Huron Northern Huskies. But 2 of those 4, they lost by just a combined 13 total points. I tell you one game that this team certainly wants back is that Anchor Bay loss. They did a great job at containing that Taiwan Jones, the Michigan State recruit at running back. I really thought his numbers were subpar that whole game, but they still couldn't get it done enough offensively, and they want that one back, I guarantee you. This pass incomplete left side, intended for 22. Josh McCarthy again, and Vaughter looked partially bumped when he threw it. There you see one of the many cameramen sporting the toque. Got the Channel 6 coat on there. And I don't have a Channel 6 coat. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. 2nd and 10, 34, shotgun T again. Wideouts lined up way out there. Looking far to the left, caught, right of the sticks, down McCarthy this time, got 10, right of the money for the first. Again, the Big Reds are without Coach Mullins tonight. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. He was suspended for tonight's game by the MHSAA for apparently unintentionally, they say, bumping an official last week. Now, whether intentional or unintentional, the fact remains you bump a ref, you're going to get suspended, despite what happened in the situation. Certainly not intentional, I'm sure of it. Spin move, good job, but there's just too many Big Reds down there to hammer him. LaForge among tacklers. 17 as well, Alex Zmolik on the tackle. Mullins ejected for it, and by rule, any coach that gets an ejection must sit out the next game, so there you go. But so far, no ill effects from the Big Reds at all, and nice to see Kenny Semmelsberger in there for the head coaching role for one game. I'm sure he doesn't mind. He's coaching the team tonight. I formation, airing this one out deep. Well, sort of deep, high anyway. Didn't really do what they wanted there. I would guess that play more or less designed to be deeper and more of a lob play. LaForge, by the way, good coverage. And Chapman as well over there. that play more of a fade pattern that you'd throw when you're near the end zone, really. And I don't know if it was meant to be that way or if that's just how the quarterback Vaughter threw the ball, but this Vaughter, though, I mean, keep in mind, last year the JV quarterback, so he's just raw. Whereas the Big Reds can say they got time out of both Chapman and Black last season. So no matter who quarterbacks their team, they know will be efficient. Big third down play for the Lancers. 6:07 to go in the second. Vaughter outside. High throw through the hands again of McCarthy. And the Big Red D is going to hold again.
Jake Vaughter's pass, intended for Johnson McCarthy, falls
18 over there, Corey Hutchinson among defenders. And that basically right there is the Brady bunch. And if it's not the Brady bunch, then it must be the Cynic family. And I think every one of them are cynics. Yeah, down there by the van.
Winslow, Chapman, and
Apparently the kids aren't interested at all in the football game. I guess they're down there bothering Ed.
Jake Vaughter back in punt formation.
They had some great big pizza down there earlier. The little girl down there was just so pumped up to have pizza. And the thing was thick, probably bigger than my hand, the piece she had. That was pretty funny. I don't even know where they got that from. I couldn't even pronounce it. So anyway, punt try. Winslow's going to let this one just roll, get to the 12. 52 downs it. Patrick Ali. Thanks again to Channel 6-2 for the heater I've got up here in the booth.
Will be first and 10.
It reeks, but it does produce heat, so that's good. 50-50, I guess, on that one. But yeah, thanks for the heat up here, folks. There you see the Big Red Band. They'll be performing at halftime for their big homecoming event tonight. Homecoming, always a big event around here because it's more than just a football game. You've got your parade, you've got your gala, if you will. They crown the king and the queen, and it really is amazing around here, the things they do for football. You gotta love the passion, you really do. Shotgun, it's a play fake. Look out for Jarrett. Midfield, downed and tackled from behind to the 50. And we have a flag. And it might be a horse collar on top of that.
There's a flag on the play.
Well, the way this game is going, this number 6, Jared Chapman, he's kind of reminds you of the Denard Robinson style for Michigan.
Horse collar tackle against Lance Creuse.
There's nothing tremendous about the play calling, just you're basically isolating a block and trying to spring him free from the line. And how well he gets past the secondary is up to him.
15 yards.
That is, by the way, a horse collar tackle, and
To the 34-yard line.
you don't like to see that. Here you see the replay of that one.
Yards to go.
Oh, just pure speed. Like, look at that. Can you outrun him? Yeah, definite horse collar. Good call. And no matter what the score is, you have got to call that one. So Big Reds operating very efficiently again. I'm not sure who the backup to Jarrett is, but they might want to consider even him. Is it Rock? Watkins again, Therese Watkins. And the last couple of carries from him have been very memorable. First down, Big Reds. I said beginning of the broadcast that this team has not run the football as effectively this season as they have in the past. But you know what? That's easier said than done. You had Taddy, you had Titus, guys like that, and you don't replace guys like that. Even Josh Collier, to go back a ways now. So difficult to do, but Therese Watkins I thought was going to get used quite a bit in this game to try and establish the run a bit more. And now that they've got basically a blowout situation, they can do that. So that's nice to see, and nice to see number 1 get some good yardage and some points on the board today. Number 9 as well, Dominic Schultz, the carry on that last one. There you see the score, 28-0. It's been all Big Reds. Shotgun, 2nd and 10. Immediate give, Schultz keeps the football down to the 6 and the 5. And certainly people that would come into a game like
Dominic
this
Schultz on the carry, brought down
and not see the scoreboard could be easily fooled, because the Big Red fan's very quiet and basically 28-0. That's why.
first down for the Big Red.
But you wouldn't know at this point
First and goal.
that they're even winning. You could hear a pin drop here, and I guess they figure, what's the point? About to be 35-0 and definite Big Red domination. First and goal from the 6. Watkins has it again. Not much, and thrown back.
Therese Watkins on the carry.
65 among tacklers, Jacob Pickard.
Jacob Picard on
And
the
it'll bring
stop.
up second down and goal.
Picks up a yard down to the 5-yard line. Second and goal.
So second and goal from the 5. 3:41 to go. Second quarter. Almost end of the first half. 28-0. High snap again. Chapman, the keeper, tries to cut it. Gets through. Dives forward. End zone. Touchdown. But a flag
Jared
first.
Chapman on the keeper. Flag on the play.
Looks like it might be an illegal shift by the Big Reds. That's going to come back. Well, Coach Mullins, certainly very successful head coach in his tenure here so far with the Big Reds, and he can get emotional at times. Certainly Coach Connell, very emotional for the Huskies this season, and it sets up a great tilt coming up in a couple of weeks. There you see the fans. That's just outside. That's near the bus. It's packed. Second and 10 from the 5, I believe. That's what the scoreboard says anyway. Chapman fakes the throw, dives in, end zone. Got in, touchdown, Big Reds. Well, he's a heck of an athlete. He did one of those Reggie Bush Superman jumps. This is an offense right now who's moving the ball at will. And the rush is making it possible because they know that right now they're better. They're getting the blocks and they're springing their fastest player, Chapman, free, and it's like the Michigan offense with Denard. You just open a hole, there's nothing fancy about it at all, and you let the speed do the rest. Man, pure speed really does a lot for a football team. It does. And Jared Chapman is firsthand proof at that. 35-0. Here's the replay. Very strong move, but look at all the time he's got on this QB rollout here. Thought about the pass, but look at the ease at how he goes around the guy. That's speed, and then just jumps over the tackler. Well, it's sick that the kind of talent that a lot of these kids have. I mean, when you can completely jump a man. Huh. What more can you say? I'll let the band do it for me. How about that? Replay again. See, speed just avoids that tackler. Watch this now. Whoop! Superman, baby. And how tall is he? I didn't even get the number, but how tall is the guy he jumps over? I mean, I know he's crouched over, but you're still leaping him. Track coach, if you're watching, get number 6 into high jump. He probably already is. A lot of these kids, multiple sport athletes, certainly. Rock to kick off. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. As if they haven't been already. Up to the 20, to the 15, check that 25, 30, and down 31. A whole horde of Big Red tacklers. 21, King Thomason among them. King Thomason just 5'6", 160 and a junior. He's got the good name though. That's awesome. King. Now that's a football name, baby. Yes, sir. Great tackle from 21. So the Lancers, one last chance to fight back any way they can in this first half before it ends. And, well, we're definitely going to have running clock time. I formation look, bumping, spin move, but there's just too many of them. LaForge over there, well, he was going nowhere, wrapped up by 13. Small was down there as well. Small kind of reminds you a bit of the Ed Too Tall Jones when he played. And really, it's a nightmare for a quarterback to pass through a guy that large to that right side of the offense, because he's jumping up sometimes. He's got hands, and they probably encourage it. Get your hands up in the face of that quarterback. Make him throw over your height. Shotgun look again. The outside bounces first before McCarthy and incomplete. I think this Mike Valerio, this 24, the great player of the Lancers that we saw, the week the Huskies beat him 48-7 here at Memorial Stadium, I think he's hurt. Because he was the one little flair this team had on both offense and defense, and he's just not there tonight. Is he hurt? Is he out? Trust me, Valerio's a good player. It's too bad he's not in there tonight. The Lancers could certainly use it, being down 35 right now. 2 play fakes, 8 alive, 12. Austin Bugner. And Smolik as well. When you fake that many times in your backfield, you're losing time. So when you get the ball, you've got to run hard with it immediately, or you're going to lose yards, and that's what happened. That's not the smartest play call, I don't think, in that situation, with the way the Big Reds have dominated the line play up front from their defensive line perspective. You need all the time you can get. Punt try. Bounces 37, picked up Winslow Chapman at the 35. He's dangerous. Is he going to do it again? Look out, here goes number 3. Still on his feet, Winslow Chapman still going again, avoiding tacklers, and he fumbles the football. This was looking really funny for a minute or two. And we have a flag anyway, but a player down too, certainly. We hope he's okay. Number 4, Joe Rusick. And he got his own fumble. Oh, that play looked like the Ringling Brothers Circus came to town. Oh, he did everything there but score, Winslow Chapman. And unfortunately, a player down. So number 4, Joe Rusick, we certainly wish him the best. He might be in pain here too. He's laying down stomach first. Here you see it off the bounce. Watch all the tackling he avoids here. Good block there, close to a block in the back. Laying waste to 5 guys right there. Here you see him among the end. Avoids another one there. Still going. Now watch this. Doink. Still going. Bumps into his own man right there. They had the man in numbers, but then he just kind of, wow, loses the ball. But the fact that he recovered his own football summed up that play in one word: circus. And Chapman got up from the bottom of the pile. He's like, oh yeah. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, nice to see number 4, Joe Rusick, get up. Hopefully just a cramp and maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. And why did he get up? Because he's a TG tough guy. That's why he got up. A minute 20 to go in the half. And a half dominated completely by the Port Huron High Big Reds. I was expecting this kind of a game, but I don't know about 35-0 at this stage. So they've come out like a desperate football team. It shows. They've come out like a team that wants to play and win for the suspended Ryan Mullins, and it shows. They've got a long way to go, especially with Grosse Pointe South next week. Look out. Schultz up, in, touchdown, Big Reds. Well, it's easy now. And another thing about a game like this, you want to make sure that a lot of your players get a taste of the end zone. I would guess the backups will be in the second half. This one basically with ease at the moment. $41-0. Donald Rock to try and make it 42. High snap, placed down, up, good. So 1:44 left. And 42-0. And I said this at the end of the Northern game. I sort of beginning to feel almost feeling sorry for Lance Creuse, if you will. If you notice on that last play, they didn't really try to even tackle 9 Schultz. Again, the homecoming gala, if you will, or presentation of the King and Queen, that's coming up at the half. We'll have it for you here on Channel 6. And no, I don't do the play-by-play for that. Good thing. And again, some great floats outside of the stadium. They're ready to come on in here, and a first half completely owned by the Big Reds. 6 touchdowns. Wow. Let's get nasty, Port Huron again. At the 12, up 15 and 20, now 25, where he's met by a whole horde of Big Reds and pushed right back about the 26. And they're loving it down there, having a great time. 24, Charlie Weaver among them. So really all aspects of the game right now in favor of the Big Reds. And the only real thing in question now, as the second half going to happen here after the homecoming gala, as mentioned, is how soon does Coach Semmelsberger play some of the backups? Let them have a chance at this. Well, we'll see. 1st and 10, 26, outside, brought down hard by 89 Jordan Small. I said a couple of weeks ago, it's the best Port Huron Northern Husky defense that I've seen in at least 10 years. And I understand the Big Red D. I haven't seen much of them, obviously, because it's been all Huskies every week here from Memorial Stadium. They had the first 4 here. But this Big Red team looks like that battle of Port Huron coming up could be a defensive low-scoring game. That could be a really exciting tilt. Especially, again, if we can get Black back for that one. Certainly in the big battle game, you want all your hands. You want to see everybody in that one. That's going to do it for the first half. And what can you say except pure domination, start to finish. The Big Reds 42, visiting Lance Creuse Lancers, very unhappy. Derek Wark, the Big D, CPHS Channel 6, indeed a great half for football if you like the Big Reds. And man, why wouldn't you? Wow. Back with the third after the homecoming gala.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Port Huron High School's homecoming activities for 2010. The theme for this year's homecoming was taken from the board game Candyland. Because of the conditions of the field, we will be unable to parade the floats around the field during halftime. We would encourage you to go behind the Port Huron bleachers and view the wonderful creations. For the senior class, the class of 2011, the float is Mr. Mint and the Peppermint Forest. For the juniors, the class of 2012, Float Lollipop Forest. The sophomores, class of 2013, Float Gumdrop Mountain. And finally, the freshmen, the class of 2014, Gingerbread Forest. The class advisors and students worked very hard over the past 10 days. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now here's the results of the float building contest. In fourth place, the juniors, the class of 2012. In third place, the freshmen, the class of 2014. In second place, the sophomores, the class of 2013. And in first place, in the winner of this year's float competition, the senior class of 2011. Congratulations to all the classes on a job well done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you join me in welcoming back last year's Queen Shelby Baker and King Tyler Jackson? Let's give them a big red welcome. Also, let's have a big red welcome for our principal, Miss Janet Barrett. Now it is my pleasure to introduce your 2010 homecoming court members and their escorts. Representing the freshman class, Lady Madison Easton, escorted by Tracy Easton. Lady Mackenzie Klein, escorted by Robert and Cynthia Klein. And Lord Nick Vanny, escorted by Jennifer Groff. Your sophomore representatives, Duchess Christiana Elling, escorted by Daryl and Danette Elling. Duchess Haley Worth, escorted by Raymond and Deborah Worth. Duke Evan Wagner, escorted by Greg and Lana Wagner. Your junior class representatives, Princess Lacey Jacobs, escorted by Mike McLaughlin and Sally Jacobs. Princess Gia Lee, escorted by Rosetta, Regina, and Rolanda Lee. And Prince Jamie Maine, escorted by Jamie and Dawn Maine. And now, representing the senior class of 2011, we have your Queen and King candidates. The nominations for King. First, we have Kyle Falk, escorted by Kevin and Veronica Falk. Next, we have Mike LaForge, escorted by Rob and Diana LaForge. Finally, we have Lorenzo Tanner, escorted by Patrick and Valerie Lantier. Now for your Queen candidates. First, we have Shelby Connor, escorted by Steve and Barrett Connor. Next, we have Nicole Corbin, escorted by Maria Miller and Rob Corbin. And finally, we have Emily Ledbetter, escorted by Zach and Denise Ledbetter. Congratulations, and let's have a nice round of applause for our 2010 court members. One of these gentlemen and one of these senior ladies will soon be crowned as your homecoming king and queen for 2010. And once again, I would like to introduce Shelby Baker and Tyler Jackson, last year's king and queen, as they assist Mrs. Barrett with the crowning of this year's winners. Senior king candidates, would you please step forward? And parents, please step behind your son. King Tyler, would you please place the 2010 Homecoming King sash and the King's crown on this year's Homecoming 2010 King, Mr. Kyle Falk. Senior Queen candidates, would you please step forward? Parents, please step behind your daughter. Queen Shelby, would you please place the 2010 Homecoming Queen's sash and shawl and the Queen's crown on this year's Homecoming 2010 Queen, Miss Nicole Corbin. Congratulations to King Kyle Falk and Queen Nicole Corbin. Now we would invite you to take your victory lap in our Big Red Marching Machines golf cart. Now a huge thank you for all of the dedication to the student council officers and members that worked tirelessly to make this day a great success. This concludes the 2010 homecoming activities. Thank you for attending, and as always, go Big Reds.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium for the second half of what has turned out to be an absolute blowout here. Lance Creuse, we kind of knew that they might not have the same amount of talent as the Big Reds coming into this game, but I didn't expect 42-0 at the half. But it's become the Chapman show. Jarrett Chapman and Winslow Chapman, these two together are really something else. But Jarrett Chapman has such tremendous speed. Can you afford to keep him out of the starting quarterback role when Black comes back? Not that he's better, he's just different, and he's certainly faster, and he's certainly shown it tonight. But the Big Reds on the whole, they're just going to run the ball for the rest of the second half. They don't really need to pass unless they're going to work on some things. But other than that, they have had such success tonight on the rush. Watkins, the two Chapmans, Dominic Schultz, you name them, such success. And 42-0, 2 thumbs up for this one, Port Huron. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS. Channel 6, the third quarter is next. Well, some halftime stats. I kind of snuck into the room next to me a minute ago and got these. Couple touchdowns, obviously, from Chapman. I think just 21 yards passing from what I saw on their sheet. And I got some rushing yards because really the story of this half, the first half, as mentioned, has been the rush. Watkins, 67 total yards, I believe, and 1 touchdown. Jarrett Chapman, the story again, though. 104 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half. And his counterpart, number 3, Winslow Chapman, 2 touchdowns in his own right on the rush. So those two together really have become the main goal and the main look in the Big Reds' tremendous offense. And I say tremendous because any team that puts 42 on the board, I don't care who you're facing, that's a great total. But the defense for the Big Reds certainly has really picked it up tonight as well. And I challenged him because he wrote into my blog, Mike LaForge. Well, he's certainly living up to it, I'll tell you. He's been a big part of it. He even got a carry on offense. So that's nice to see earlier. What can I say, Mike? Truthfully, a good game by all of yous tonight, and one you can be proud of, and one they certainly needed too with the difficult Grosse Pointe South next week, and I've mentioned a lot, and I'll talk about that schedule here as the second half goes right along. But first, once again, it'll be Rock to kick her off. And have they switched? Maybe it's Aguanaga to kick this one off. Number 19, Tony Aguanaga. I hope I pronounced that one right. Yep. Rock's going to have a seat. We'll also see what the Big Reds do for backup players here in the second half. Because at 42-0, they don't even really need to see the Chapmans back in there again. Let's get nasty again, Port Huron. This hits the Lancers, picked up by the Big Reds. They couldn't ask for anything more to start out the half, except for that. Well, Charlie Weaver gave, I don't know which Lancer, but he gave him a shove, and that's going to be after the play, unsportsmanlike. If Coach Mullins was coaching that one, he'd be given an earful right now, but 42-0. I mean, you can't do that when you're up 42, but you know what? It's the emotion. It takes over. Football's like that. You don't like it, but in the same breath, you understand. So the 47. No big deal. But it was done perfectly, really. Low kick, line drive shot that they couldn't handle. And the cold might have something to do with it. It's starting to get cold down there. And there you see, jumping on the football. 23, Johnny on the spot. Julian Brown got it. And then again, the unsportsmanlike call. Push the Big Reds back to the 47. Again, this is CPHS Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station. Big D, Derek Wark, again in the captain's chair tonight with you. I missed a week this year. That'll be it, though. I'll be here for the rest of them. And glad to be here again. High snap this time. Backup quarterback in there, by the way, Mark Chapman, who I guess would be considered a backup of a backup in this case. But he's going to get some snaps, even though he might be a QB or he might not be. But with blackout, adjusting accordingly, plus being up 42. I mean, you want to put your backups in there to get them a taste of some of the action. And mostly in this half, I think it's just going to be a run-oriented half to knock that clock down. And when you're up 42, you don't really need to score anymore. Bobbled snap, Mark Chapman, keeper. Avoids tackle nicely, flags all over the place. There he goes, Mark Chapman. 15-10-5, adios, touchdown, Big Reds. Couple flags first at midfield. Well, it's a hold, and it's going to come back, but you have to admire the effort of Mark Chapman there. Well, there are so many Chapmans. And the funny thing is, it's not like you're calling them out on a fluke. Every one of them are good. So, on one play, somehow, at least from an offensive perspective, you're going to call the name Chapman somehow. You could almost say the Port Huron High Chapmans. Jared, I'm not sure, is going to see another down in this game. He might even line up back at the corner position just to get some more work there, where they want him to go back too. Not because of the quarterback position, mind you, because he's done a great job tonight, but mostly because he was such a great one-on-one defender. That's a great job of just avoiding tackle, but of course it's coming back, so second down now. Bobbled snap again. This is King. Thomason. Not much. That'll bring up third down. So to look at the schedule thus far for the Big Reds, of course, August 27th, they lost 33-20 to Warren Cousino. That's a tough game to start with. They got even, though, September the 2nd. They won 49-7 at Sterling Heights, the team the Huskies have tonight. And then, of course, September the 10th, they lost 17-14 to Anchor Bay. They were 1-2 at that point. And we'll talk more about that schedule here in just a moment. High snap on third down. Not going to get anywhere near enough for Montez Jackson, though. Nice to see a backup player get a carry. And that brings up fourth down. Well, September the 17th, they lost 16-6 to Utica Eisenhower in Eisenhower. You talk about cruel schedule. You open with Warren Cousino, and then you got to go to Utica Eisenhower as well, and those are two tough ones. Like I said, they want that Anchor Bay game back too. So they're 1-3 at that point. Of course, the win over Clintondale last week. Here's a high punt. One bounce. Kind of a funny effort there by Montez Jackson, who just wanted to field the ball any way he could, so he jumped out of bounds with it. Of course, Clintondale last week, 12-7. Tonight, Lance Creuse. Next week, at Grosse Pointe South. And then the big one. In a couple of weeks, they're at Port Huron Northern, which is here. Basically, that means Northern's going to get the home game, but really anybody's game this year. But, man, look out for that Husky D. They are strong. Believe me firsthand. I saw them 4 weeks in a row. That game's going to be a nice defensive battle. First and 10, ball mark 35-yard line. Shotgun T look. Looking to the left. Over the middle now. In and out of the hands again of 6, Jesse Evans. And if you want to know firsthand, if someone were to ask me why, from what you've seen, Big D, are these Lancers 1-4? I said it in the first quarter. 4-1 catches balls thrown directly at you and in your hands. 1-4 does not. It's that simple an answer, really. And they have dropped probably 4 or 5 tonight that they should have held on to. Big Reds close up, by the way, October 22nd versus Madison High School. Second and 10 to the 35. Pump fake. Vaughter airing it out deep and high. And pretty good defense over there. 23, Eric Winega, the intended receiver. Good position by 14, Taj King, one of the solid secondary players on this team. That's one of those plays there where if it's a tighter game and Taj King is in the same position, The way that pass went, he could have absolutely taken 23's head off. I don't think you do that when you're up 42, mind you, but if he'd have timed it right, wow, look out. It's like he knew where that ball was going because King lined up that ball long before the wideout. I formation, pitch out, 23 Wanega the carry. There's just not enough over there. Big Reds have done a sensational job today at shutting those holes down. There are no running lanes to speak of. 11, Zach DeBuff among tacklers and among those filling the hole there, more importantly. Well, they're not bored, those girls there, on a sleeping bag down there, and just a good time for them. Well, I'll name off the Channel 6 staff here in just a moment, and all the great job they've done tonight, as they do every night, every broadcast, really. Here's the punt, standing at the 25-yard line. Pretty good one. Excellent bounce, right in the hands of the Big Reds. Hutchinson to the 45, now the 50. Still rumbling hard down to the 45, maybe the 44 of the Lancers. Good punt, even better return. The CPHS Channel 6 staff tonight, camera people Emily Desmet, Josiah Creedler, Nick Newmyers, and Sean Wendt, the Ox. Camera halftime director is Cecilio Galio. Slow-mo camera Chris Orell, the Bloodhound. EJ Shea, big fella in the truck down there. Slow-mo director, thumbs up to you as always. Graphics, the shoeless one, Chad Schuler. And of course, Ed Sinek in charge, the Captain Kirk of Channel 6. They give to the outside, Montez again. Jackson got maybe 5. Brings up second down. Not really sure about the rule on when they run the running clock, but I would think that would be in the fourth quarter at some point, if you're wondering, being as the Big Reds are up right now, 42. From just about the 41-yard line is where they'll have it next. Again, a lot of the Big Red backups are in there right now, and rightfully so. A 42-point first half. They don't even really need any more points. And they continue to move the ball right now, too, so. Shotgun again. High snap again. QB keeper, Mark Chapman to the right. First down and a ton more to the 21. 5, Lucas Lanzon again. And if you were going to call out one defensive player of the game for the Lancers, Lanzon might have it. Either him or Dallas Carroll. Really the only guys I've seen consistently make tackles today. Well, 23 as well. Wanega has made some. There you see Chapman, and he's got great speed too. And my next question, has there ever been a Chapman that wasn't fast? Because all of them are fast. All of them can run. Goodness. Very athletic family from the 21, 1st and 10. Shotgun again. Give again. Jackson again. Tried to get to the outside, but they got him this time from around the back. Joe Rusek. There's the Ox. Go blue. He's got the Michigan shirt on. Can he even hear me? I don't even know if he can. They nod like they can, but I don't even know if they can. He's jealous because I've been to all 3 home games for Michigan. How about that? I hope you are going to a couple. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to feel so sorry for you, Big Ox. Cameraman Extreme down there. CPHS Channel 6. Actually, he's in the room next to me. Shotgun. Look again. Straight up and straight down. Dove forward. 21 King Thomason. And the backups getting a fair chunk of time. Is that the homecoming king and queen, newly crowned? It must be. What a segue, too. King Thomason just had the handoff, and then they go to the homecoming king. How about that? And the Big Reds playing like kings tonight, really. 42-0, and what else can you say? Sooner or later, you lose things to talk about when it's 42-0, but final 2 minutes of the third. Clock continues to run. 4 wide, 1 back set. And flags on the play. It's going to be offside offense. Well, they're saying delay of game now, so it'll push the Big Reds back either way. But again, it's great to get feedback, and I've mentioned it a lot tonight, and I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's LaForge's game, show me what you got, because, you know, he's not getting enough credit, and it's been mentioned, and great players, and there's a lot of Big Reds, actually, that should be getting more credit than they're getting, and that's kind of why I have that website, bigdsports.info. High snap, Chapman the keeper. Again, just too much speed through the open gap to the 14. 5 the tackle, Lucas lands on again. But when people write in to bigdsports.info and they say, you know, in my opinion, LaForge doesn't get enough credit. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly the kind of stuff I love to hear at that website. So that was great. And certainly, Mike, that was for you. And it was great to see, by the way, Game 1, the Big Reds up here. There you see Justin Black, by the way, on the sidelines, number 7. Not dressed, so we hope that's not too serious, and he'll be back for the big rivalry game in a couple of weeks. This play blown dead right away. Anyway, Trevor Baker and Chris Taddy came up to the booth, and it was a pleasure meeting those two. Especially Taddy, who, and I told him this, probably the best player I've called play-by-play for in this booth in the 14 years I've been up here. And it's important that they know that they have been that good, because he, in his case, he really was. And obviously Baker, a great defensive player for them as well. They both came up and said they were fans, but the one thing they said that I kind of really liked and appreciated was they said, we all watch these broadcasts, Big D. You give us that extra pumped up, that extra oomph. And I like to hear that. So, Chris Taddy, wherever you are, that's the extra oomph. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. There you go. Anyway, back to this one here. Again, 42-0 Big Reds. They have dominated from the get-go, just trying to get that clock run down and get out of here. And really, the only thing you really worry about when it's 42-0 is to get your players off the field all healthy. Because mark my words, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, they're going to need everything they've got for next week against Grosse Pointe South. South doesn't score that much, but they've got tremendous size up front. I mean huge. Like that week they came and beat the Huskies here 10-7. There were guys 6'7", 6'6", 6'5" on that offensive and defensive line. They're just a battling football team, South. It's going to be a big game next week for them. You talk about Chapman getting through the open lanes and using his tremendous speed. Jarrett Chapman, in my opinion, is the key to the whole game next week. There I am. I don't even know where the camera person is on that one. I got something here, panel, something here, panelist, doing all but blocking the Big D up here in the booth. But yeah, there I am. And that's going to do it for the third quarter of play here. From Memorial Stadium, we're after 3 complete, 42-0. Your Big Reds on top of the Lancers in a big, big way. And I'm the Big D after 3 from Memorial Stadium. Back with the 4th in a moment. the fourth quarter from Memorial Stadium. Derek Wark, the Big D, CPHS Channel 6, after 3 complete. Big Reds are all over them. What more can you say? 42-0, the big goose egg, and you know darn well this defense would love to pitch a shutout. CPHS Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station. Immediate handoff, second and short, right on the sticks, and I think they've got it. Very close if they don't. They're saying first down. Doggett on the short carry. Brings up first down and 10. So to the fourth quarter of this one, owned by the Big Reds, and mainly the tremendous rush of Jarrett Chapman in the first half. Very similar to, again, I hate to keep harping on it, but the look of the Michigan Wolverines in their offense this year, where you spread out the defense and just take off with Denard. That's what they've done primarily with Jarrett tonight, Jarrett Chapman, and I think 104 some yards at the half, a couple of touchdowns on the rush, and don't overlook Winslow Chapman, number 3, and his importance next week either. He was lined up as kind of a swing, almost like a slot back tonight. Got carries, got some passes out there, and the two Chapman players together, they're going to be a big story next week. And maybe the key to the game against, as mentioned, a big, tough front of Grosse Pointe South. Very, very big, tough team. I formation, straight up, here we go. Lancers, finally a big gain and a big carry for Johnny Doggett. He's a good little player, and I mentioned his name in week 3 when he faced the Huskies here at Memorial Stadium. Just 5'8", 175 junior. He's going to be a whale of a senior next season, but he kind of does everything for this team, and he's one of these guys that goes unnoticed while he does. From the 49, first and 10. Nothing. Pushed back, tackled. Well, the Lancers could get called for that one. They're not going to because of the score. The only reason you don't call that is the score. Don Zerbicki, one of the defensive line players, actually offensive line in this case, just jumped on a defensive lineman of the Big Reds and taunted. I think he jumped on Todek. If it wasn't 42-0, that is thrown every single time. Second and 11 from the 48. I formation, look again. Immediate give. No, play fake to the outside. Winega instead, and pushed out of bounds. After a short game, seemed like a whole lot of work for not much. By the way, if you're wondering, Winega just got out of bounds. The clock continues to run. So basically, mercy rule in effect, and no matter what happens now, that clock will continue. So basically, no matter what happens, this game's over in 8:40. Really. For the Big Reds, they're going to go 3-3 on the season, and a win they desperately needed. And Clintondale last week, that was a huge win too, to get them back at 500. First things first. Here's a big carry. Jesse Evans past the sticks and a first down for the Lancers. And most of the starters now are out of the game for Port Huron. I thought maybe he might put Jarrett Chapman back there at corner just for a couple plays to make sure he's fresh there just in case. The number 1 cornerback on the Big Reds, but no, instead they're content with him right now at only quarterback. Flag on the play this time. On first down, I think offside on the defense is going to be the call, encroachment. On a cool night, but a football evening, certainly. Some would argue, well, if it's a football evening, no matter what the temperature, it's a great night. I'm not arguing that statement, no way, definitely. I formation look. 1st and 5 now. Off the penalty from the 34. Ripped right down, right off carry. 5 hammered him, Rock, and 55, Ali Fayyad. Second and 7. There you see right under me the We Are the Big Reds. I'll wave too. If the cameramen are doing it, I have to do it. Otherwise, I look like the Grinch. The Grinch that stole the Big Reds' Christmas. There's the Ox in the booth. There you see them. Arell, I think, is over there too, I think. Nah, he's up on the roof. Slow-mo cam. 22, a good open field tackle right here. Lorenzo Tanner, nice job. And there's the Big Red sidelines. They really didn't have much life or panic in the early going, and obviously a kickoff return touchdown, the opening kickoff by Winslow Chapman. It'll get you going real quick, but that kind of summed up the game for them, and they haven't really needed to worry in this one. From the 28, it'll be 1st and 10. Lancers starting to move the ball finally for the first time this game. Immediate give, tackled right away. 55 again, Ali Fayyad. A big guy, Fayyad, certainly 6'1", 210. And he's made a couple nice tackles so far. Some of the Big Red faithful. Most of them have not left yet. And that's nice to see. Sticking around right till the end to see if they can post a shutout. You don't see shutouts too often. Maybe they can do it. 5.5 left in this one. That's really the only thing in question right now. The eye look again for the Lancers. Primarily, they've had this eye look all game long offensively. It's delay of game against the Lancers anyway. And I really do not like the delay of game at this level because there's no visible play clock, and whose word are you giving it on, you know? Many times have I said that. They need something on field that's visible. But until they do, lots of delay of games at this level. From the 32, 2nd and 14, straight up, straight down again. 55, Ali Fayyad is cleaning house right now. Whew. Well, he's saying if you're not going to touch me or block me, I'm going to make you pay. From the 36, 3rd and 17. So some players of the game, certainly, if you talk defense for Lance Creuse, you'd have to say Lucas Lanzon and probably Dallas Carroll for his work in the first half. Defensive play for the Big Reds, you could call any of them, really. So I'll say the whole defensive unit gets it for me. Pump fake here, airing it out deep. That's a strong play, it is. Yep. Because not only do you have the coverage, but you're using that off arm to deflect the ball. Lorenzo Tanner. And just about the only thing better than that is to pick it off, really. Offensively for the Lancers, I'm going to do one of the rare things. I don't know if I've ever done this and say no one. No pun intended, but when you're shut out, and certainly a credit to the Big Red D, you just can't name anyone. I tell you what, if they score, that's offensive player of the game for them. I formation look again. Flag first. 21 the carry, Johnny Doggett. And if anything, maybe Johnny Doggett gets it for his couple of runs here. And I guess what could also be interesting, are they going to consider dumping Ken Semmelsberger? I wouldn't do it. It's kind of cold out there, but it's his one and only game during the Coach Mullen suspension. And I don't know, are they thinking about it or not? There was a guy down here kind of filling up the Gatorade, but maybe that's just for the players. They might be setting something up. It is his only game as head coach. Coach Mullins is coming back next week. Well, we'll see. There you see the cheerleaders. Lots to cheer about tonight, despite the fact that it's quiet. Quiet because of the blowout, really. Offensively, you can't not say Jarrett Chapman. As much as Winslow was great, Jarrett's just in a whole nother world. The speed he gets from quarterback. Tough guy to tackle. This is a good little run here from Therese Watkins. Got close to 10 and close to the sticks. But the fact that Jarrett Chapman named the number one player in the area by the Times Herald in their top 25 list of players this season, I couldn't agree more from an athletic standpoint, and certainly that list was done as a corner. But you've seen tonight where out of the quarterback position and off the rush, what the kid's capable of doing. So you can't argue that a player like that would get one, in this area anyway. Final 2:10 to go. Shotgun look again. Mark Chapman outside Montez. Nice stiff arm move. Got 3 because of it. And out of bounds. So after going 1-3 to start the year, in a very tough schedule, which is one of the reasons why they would want that Anchor Bay game back bad, to get that other win, that extra win. Because with Grosse Pointe and the Huskies coming up, they're really going to have to earn it. And that Huskies team is not the pushover it's been the last few years. They're neck and neck now. It's every Port Huron team for himself now. Play fake, outside, Chapman again, left side, first down, more. 43. That, of course, Mark Chapman, not the starter who was Jarrett, and not the other who was Winslow. So just about to our final minute of this one. A short game because when you get blowouts like this on the Mercy rule, the running clock in effect. The Port Huron High marching band are going to do their thing after the game. They couldn't do it, by the way, at the half, and due to the bad field conditions, they couldn't even bring the floats in, which kind of was a disappointment. I kind of wanted to see what the float that went uphill did, but I guess it can't be done. This will be the final play of the game right here. Big Reds are going to go to 3-3. And a game never in doubt from the absolute get-go. They're going to kneel on. Winslow Chapman started off the game, number 3, with a big kickoff return. And then 6, Jarrett Chapman basically took the game right over for a half, and he hasn't even played in the second, I don't think. That's going to do it. Big Red crowd comes alive. A very, very convincing 42-0 win today. And I want to personally thank Mike LaForge of the Big Reds for writing into BigDSports.info and giving the compliments, but mainly to Mike LaForge, who they claimed on that page does not get enough credit. Kudos to you, buddy. Big Reds 3-3. Congrats to the Big Reds and their student body on homecoming tonight. The final score, 42-0. Big Reds over visiting Lance Creuse Lancers. For the entire staff of CPHS Channel 6, I've been Derek Wark, the Big D. Take care, everybody.
of Daniel J. Griffith. This year we honor one of the great Motown legends, Stevie Wonder. Our show opens with the 1970 classic Signed, Sealed, Delivered, of Yours, and features Kristen Kenny on trumpet. Drum majors Nicole Corbin, Leanne Lum, and Colin Kester. Is your band ready to take the field?
Drum majors present Ox!
Band, take the field. While not a Stevie Wonder original, his driving ballad version propelled For Once in My Life to the top of the charts. tight, but everything's all right.